All right, Heath, we've been waiting to see when Bijan Robinson would come off the board, and there it is, number 8 to the Atlanta Falcons. A little bit of a surprise for, I think, some of the hopeful destinations, Philadelphia, Cincinnati, some of the teams we're talking about that could have a huge need for running back. Obviously, the Falcons didn't necessarily have that with Tyler Allgeier, but they get the guy that's going to lead their backfield in Bijan Robinson. So what do you think about the move for redraft leagues? Is Bijan Robinson now somebody you're looking at in the first 2 rounds of fantasy drafts?
100%. I said about 15 minutes ago that Anthony Richardson was the most exciting pick in the draft so far, and this one might top it. Bijan Robinson, I love the player. I don't think Tyler Allgeier is going to matter to him. They're going to run the ball 500 times. It's not like Bijan was going to have 500 rush attempts. You can give 300 to him and 200 to Allgeier and Cordarrelle Patterson. He was awesome in the passing game. Now, he probably won't do a lot of that in Atlanta because they don't throw very much, but this is a guy who can line up as a receiver, and we've seen that really unlock value for running backs in fantasy football. He is a top 10 running back for me and definitely a pick in the first 2 rounds.
It's obviously one of the best run systems, and we saw Tyler Allgeier the last 4 games of the season in 2022 was just amazing. 2 games over 100 yards rushing. He was a fantastic fantasy option to close the season. So Bijan Robinson steps into a great system. But we sort of talked about this, though. If the Falcons don't win, and they passed on some pretty high-end talent in the NFL draft to select Bijan Robinson, and Arthur Smith is fired, and this system doesn't necessarily turn into what we expect it to be, moving forward with what we've seen from Arthur Smith, can Bijan Robinson still reach that ceiling and extend that into the dynasty conversation? Just we know he's going to be the first overall pick no matter the format. Is he going to have that type of electric performances in maybe a different system if Arthur Smith is not there?
I would kind of compare it to Jonathan Taylor, and we're seeing him switch systems this year, and I think there's a possibility that the Anthony Richardson pick is not good for him, but Jonathan Taylor is still going to be a first-round pick for me in fantasy football because he's Jonathan Taylor, and so I do think that Robinson's that type of prospect, possibly a little bit better. I do wonder if the odds of Arthur Smith leaving are helped by how bad the NFC South looks right now. I mean, if Desmond Ridder is just okay, I mean, wow, to be surrounded now by Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and Bijan Robinson, maybe this offense isn't that bad.
But do you have confidence, though, that Arthur Smith will get the best out of Bijan Robinson? We know, again, what he's done in Tennessee with, Derrick Henry when he was the offensive coordinator there. And, again, what he did with Tyler Allgeier and even Cordarrelle Patterson over the last 2 seasons. But they haven't exactly maximized the potential of the 2 previous high-end offensive draft picks that they've had in Kyle Pitts and Drake London. Give you any pause for concern in terms of what Bijan Robinson could do?
It gives me more pause for what he could do as a pass catcher and kind of the hopes that we had in that regard. But I have far more confidence in Arthur Smith to get the best out of a running back than I do out of a wide receiver or a tight end, partially just because the volume is going to be great, but also because last year, I don't think we went into last year thinking, man, the Falcons have this great run blocking offensive line. And you get to the end of the year and everybody's averaging 5 yards per carry and they're graded as one of the best offensive lines in football in terms of run blocking. So I do have confidence in his running schemes. I think maybe the PPR ceiling is just a little bit lower with Smith because there aren't as many pass attempts.
In terms of, we'll go back to his redraft value. You said he's 10th for you at the running back position. So give me some guys that you'll be taking him over and not, the Alvin Kamaras, the Joe Mixons, the Dalvin Cooks, Derrick Henry, Bijan Robinson. Who's your pick there?
I am you know what? I've got Derrick Henry ahead in the projections, but I'm not going to take Derrick Henry over Bijan Robinson. So I just noticed one more guy. So we're up to number 8 now already. I'm going to take him over Aaron Jones. I'm going to take him over Ken Walker. I'm going to take him over Dalvin Cook. I'm going to take him over. That's probably low enough. The rest of the low guys, I'm going to take him over.
Walker's the one that's tough one for me because he's a top 5 back. I still think I would take Walker ahead of him just based on his situation. But look, if Bijan hits his ceiling, we know he could be a top 3 running back. He's got that much potential. And again, this offensive system is going to be great. But I want to go back to something you said. I know you're kind of joking about the 500 rush attempts, but how much is Tyler Allgeier and Cordarrelle Patterson potentially if he still stays on the team? But we know Allgeier will be there. How much do those guys hurt Bijan Robinson's ceiling?
I wasn't joking about the 500 rush attempts. They had 559 rush attempts last year. I've got them projected for 533. So I've got right now, and I might be a little bit high, but I've got Bijan at 309 carries. I've got 160 carries split up between Allgeier and Cordarrelle Patterson. So I'm kind of looking at a split where he gets basically 2/3 of the running back rush attempts, and Ridder runs a little bit.
All right, so we'll see if he can live up to the hype. It's pretty telling when you take a running back in the top 10 these days, and obviously the Falcons going all in on Bijan Robinson. So sorry for Tyler. I guess we should probably address Tyler Allgeier's dynasty value because he did have the opportunity to hopefully build off a strong rookie campaign. That's not going to be the case right now. If you're a Tyler Allgeier fantasy manager, aside from crying, what would you be looking to do?
I mean, it's mostly crying, and like I think it's just like what we saw happen with Michael Carter. It's just kind of like what we saw happen with James Robinson. Now Robinson had the ETN injury. That's the path that Allgeier could still be a starter. I think he's fallen to the point now to where you don't do anything with him at all in your dynasty roster. You hold him, you stash him, you hope that he gets an opportunity one way or another. But the floor just fell out of his dynasty and redraft value. There's no point in trying to get rid of him now.
All right, so we'll see what happens with Tyler Allgeier and how much he's used now that the Falcons have added Bijan Robinson. The first running back off the board, number 8 to Atlanta, Bijan Robinson. That'll do it for us here. Make sure you check us out all throughout the night, YouTube, Fantasy Football Today. We'll have you covered on the NFL Draft. For Heath, I'm Jamie. Thanks for watching.